the Baltimore Ravens make some moves with the season less than 48 hours away. But first, we'll take a look into the AFC title game rematch. So yes, it is really here. We are a day away from the beginning of the 2024 NFL football season. And to start things off, we get the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Arrowhead Stadium to play against the Kansas City Chiefs. And for some fans, they look at this as a possible revenge game. But to Lamar Jackson, this is just another game. He doesn't look at any game as revenge. He wants to win every contest that he goes into.
I just want to look at this game like a revenge game. Anybody we played, no matter if we beat them or lost to them previous years, I just want to win.
Now, Lamar Jackson had some very complimentary things to say about Patrick Mahomes, but he knows that this is the first game and the step of what he wants to be his ultimate goal into making it to a Super Bowl. And not only does Lamar want to win a Super Bowl, he wants to do it his way. He wants to do it with his playing style. He does not emulate any other quarterbacks. He respects all others, but he does not model his game after anyone besides himself, as he said. Now, he was very complimentary of Patrick Mahomes, stating all of his accolades and all of his accomplishments, but he knows to be mentioned alongside this NFL great, Lamar Jackson has to come away with the title. He is very aware of the playoff struggles that the Baltimore Ravens have had, but he is now here to erase it, beginning with step one, playing the Kansas. The helm is now 1-4 versus the Kansas City Chiefs in their 5 matchups. And for people to say that one game was not a fluke, the Ravens may have to go in and beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. But this will be no easy task. See, last season, the Kansas City Chiefs were down. They were down bad. They had offensive struggles. They had wide receiver issues. They had Patrick Mahomes not particularly looking like Patrick Mahomes, and yet and still, they still went out and won a Super Bowl. Now, could this be a repeat of last year? Because Kansas City went into last season's opener as the defending Super Bowl champions and lost to the Detroit Lions. Could this happen again? The Kansas City Chiefs don't really care about regular season success. All they care about is what happens during the postseason. And this past postseason, they showed for a playoff run on the road. They dispatched of all teams, including Baltimore. Now, as for the Ravens, they have come out and revamped their team. They brought in Derrick Henry, which many seem to believe will propel this team to heights not seen before with Lamar Jackson. They feel that Derrick Henry was the missing piece on offense that could take the Ravens over the top during the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, throughout his illustrious career, has never had a back like Derrick Henry. Even though the Ravens have led the league in rushing, they have twice gone over the 3,000-yard mark during Lamar's career. They have never had a back quite like Derrick Henry. And many believe, just like myself, if the Ravens get into another playoff scenario, they are not going to run the ball with their running back 6 times. Especially with Derrick Henry, because somebody's going to have some explaining to do. Somebody's going to have to explain how you gave Derrick Henry 6 carries in a championship game. This is not the only question that the Baltimore Ravens have. There are questions abound about the offensive line, about first-year starters, about guys that have never played in the NFL. Will they be able to hold up, and will they progress throughout the season? Not only do the Ravens have offensive line struggles, they have questions on the defensive end as well. Not as many questions as the offense, but they have lost a few key pieces, with them losing Patrick Queen, Geno Stone, and Jadeveon Clowney. But more importantly, they lost the architect of this defense in Mike McDonald, becoming the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. They also lost Anthony Weaver and a few others. Also, with the passing of Joe D, the offensive line coach, some doubt that the Ravens can replicate what they did last season. But the one thing that people don't realize is from 2018 on, the Baltimore Ravens have Lamar Jackson. So no matter what roster that they put around him, Lamar Jackson is going to win regular season games. Now, the postseason games, that is a different question. But as of right now, we are going to take a look at the matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Zay Flowers is in his 2nd year, so he's definitely going to be better. The Ravens need Rashad Bateman to fulfill that potential that the Ravens had when they drafted him in the 1st round. The Ravens also need to get a healthy season out of Mark Andrews, but they do have Isaiah Likely waiting in the wing just in case Mark Andrews is not the Mark Andrews of old. So outside of the offensive line, the passing game may be one of the bigger questions as well. Now, if you did have a question defensively about the Ravens, it may be, where is the pass rush coming from? But the Ravens do return Odafe Owe. Hopefully David Ojabo can give the Ravens a healthy season, and we brought back Kyle Van Noy. Add in new starter Trenton Simpson, who seems to just have energy for days. The Ravens may be in good hands. And of course, the Ravens have arguably, which really not arguably, have the best secondary in the league. They have the most depth throughout the league as far as the cornerback and safety positions go. So this is going to be a plus for the team. Now, when we take a look at the Kansas City Chiefs, to me, I think the biggest X factor for the Kansas City Chiefs going into this game, going into their season, is possibly going to be Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator. He is a multi-Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator, and he has shut down some of the best offenses in the league. And I think that what he does with this defense and what he has done with this defense is amazing, because outside of people thinking that the Kansas City Chiefs as an offensive juggernaut, they are that good defensively as well. If you've seen previous videos, I've told you before that the Kansas City Chiefs have been the second-ranked defense behind the #1 Baltimore Ravens of last season. Even though Kansas City lost all-world game-saving cornerback L'Jarius Sneed, they still have all-pro McDuffie. Now the question for the Chiefs is, who's going to play opposite McDuffie? The Chiefs play about 4 or 5 cornerbacks they have in rotation, but none of them, as of to my knowledge right now, have actually solidified the job. So CB2 may be a question for Kansas City going into this game, and this may be something that the Ravens may want to target or something that they are going to look at. But as far as the defensive line and linebacking crew, they are stout. Now, Nick Bolton is coming off of an injury. He has not really tested his elbow this offseason, so we don't really know what we're going to get out of him. But trust me, when he is healthy and he is playing, Nick Bolton is a baller. They also have Justin Reed coming back, the safety. You know, he's had plenty of complimentary things to say about the Baltimore Ravens, but I think that's just a ploy if you ask me. But he is coming off of a quad injury, so we don't know how effective he is actually going to be. Offensively, the Kansas City Chiefs have revamped their receiving corps, bringing in Hollywood Brown and drafting Xavier Worthy. Now, Hollywood did get hurt on the first play of preseason. Therefore, Kansas City went out and brought back an old friend in Juju Smith-Schuster, who the Ravens are really familiar with, having spent some time with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So now you have Xavier Worthy, you have Rashee Rice, you have Juju Smith-Schuster, who had one of his better seasons in Kansas City, to go along with Travis Kelce and Isaiah Pacheco. So the Chiefs have identified one of their weaknesses and possibly made it a strength. Now, the one question they may have is, who is going to play behind Isaiah Pacheco? Because Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he has been put on the NFI list. He is going through a few things right now, and he has stepped away from the team for a few weeks to get his mental health together. Now, I do applaud the Kansas City Chiefs because they are actually paying this young man, even though he's on the NFI list. They do not have to pay him. It seems like teams are now starting to give these players their money, even though they are away from the team. This is something that may possibly could have been handled with the Tyus Bowser situation. I really don't know, because I don't know exactly what went on in that situation, but the Ravens chose not to pay him any of his money. That began a contentious relationship. Now Bowser is over there in Seattle on the practice squad. But hats off to the Chiefs for doing right by one of their players. So with him out, who are the Chiefs actually going to have as a backup running back? So once again, Brett Veach says we have an issue. I have a solution. The Kansas City Chiefs went out and signed Samaje Perine. As soon as he was cut, they snagged him up. And Ravens fans are familiar with Perine from his time with the Cincinnati Bengals. So to me, this game is really going to come down to which offense can score on which defense. Hopefully it will be the Ravens. Now, before 4 p.m., before game day starts, the Ravens had to get under the salary cap. At this time, 48 hours ago, the Ravens were a few mil over the salary cap. They needed to have money just in case they needed to sign free agents. They needed money to sign practice squad players and future practice squad players. So the Ravens went out and restructured 3 contracts. First, they restructured the contract of Roquan Smith, saving $3.65 million. Then they went out and restructured Justin Tucker's deal and saved $1.7 million. And last but not least, we have Nnamdi Madubuike. That was a mouthful. redoing his deal, saving $3.9 million. All in all, the Ravens got back $9.2 million, which currently leaves them right now with about $4.8 million to play with under the salary cap. Now, that's not really much if injuries were to come about, or if the Ravens are out there looking for some help that's out there on the street or willing to trade for somebody. So the Ravens may be doing more restructuring in the near future. And last but not least, I was looking on the internet as I normally do, and I stumbled upon an article talking about the 4 best moves the Baltimore Ravens have made thus far. And I'm expecting to see the re-signing of Justin Madubuike. I'm looking for them signing Derrick Henry, just certain things like that. But to my surprise, at number 4, this really took me by surprise and I damn near choked on my food. The number 4 signing of all the offseason that they listed the Baltimore Ravens have made was bringing back Tyler Huntley. Now, either this website is trolling, they don't have anything to report about, or the Ravens have not done as much as we really thought that they did during this offseason. And it is unacceptable that Tyler Huntley being brought back to the practice squad is number 4 in moves made this off season. This may potentially be a young man that doesn't play a snap for the Baltimore Ravens this season. This may potentially be a young man that never plays a snap for the Ravens ever again. And right now, he's not even the backup quarterback. And to you, this is the number 4 move that the Baltimore Ravens made this offseason. For many of us, we were hoping that it would have been an offensive lineman, something like that. Hey, I would have even taken Eddie Jackson, bringing him in. Or give me promoting Zach Orr, the defensive coordinator. I mean, now either one of these moves may provide pivotal to the Ravens' success going into 2024. But for them to say Tyler Huntley is the 4th rated move that the Baltimore Ravens have made, this team could be in trouble. Well, according to what they reported. Anyway, all right. Make sure you check out future videos, and possibly tomorrow morning, not promising anything, early tomorrow morning, I may do an early morning on your way to work live stream. I know I said I wasn't live streaming anymore. I'm thinking about it. I haven't really narrowed down if I'm going to do it or not, but trust me, check it out. And if so, I guess I will see you then.
Nah, man, I'm cool.